Welcome, everyone. How is everybody? Good to see all of you. Okay, so tonight we have another session of Open Diner, and the topic is, what can we learn from nature? It's a big topic. It's wonderful. There's so much we can learn from nature. And this is a cameras on event, so if you could kindly turn on your camera, that'd be great. We find that it helps us connect to each other. We'd love to see your faces. Okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about nature and what we can learn from nature. And everything in nature is interconnected and it's interdependent. Nothing exists in isolation. Each species in an ecosystem, it helps to sustain the entire food web. The earth is completely dependent on the sun's energy, and the trees give us oxygen. Connections in nature are an important scientific fact. Connections in nature, they're the very basis for the existence of everything, including you and me.
That's true, Cole. You know, unlike any other creature on earth, people live according to the opposite principle, right? Most people believe, because of what we're taught, not that we're bad people, that we are separate individuals among other separate individuals. And the earth we live on has fundamentally nothing to do with us. In order to be secure, in order to thrive and enjoy life, you have to dominate and compete. This is what we've learned in our whole life. Therefore, we try to control and dominate. And it's kind of baked into the cake. And it's not a good cake either, like the cake you want to eat. It's not because we're bad people, like I said, or dominators. It's because of a story that we live in. You know, behind all the problems, whether it's personal, global, societal, environmental levels that things are happening, our separation and isolation from each other and nature are causing this. Behind biodiversity loss, you could say, climate change, all those other things, in any time period you analyze, you're going to find human greed, selfishness, apathy, is at the root of the problem.
It's so true. And it's a wonder why people don't care. I wonder why we don't care so much, but we've been living this way for a long time and it's no fault of our own. We were taught that this is the way to survive and thrive, and we thought it would make us happier. However, if you look at what's going on in the world and statistics, it's doing the opposite, totally the opposite. There's more depression, substance abuse, suicide, gun violence, domestic abuse. There's more divorce than ever, right? And technology and social engineering are failing to make us happy, right? And the earth is in crisis. That's because we're doing the opposite of what all the other parts of nature are doing. Instead of living in connection, we're living selfishly. This time in a pandemic, it's allowed us to pause and reevaluate what's really important. We can really learn from this pandemic. Now that many are looking to go back to what was before the pandemic, the way it was before, we don't have to go back to something that didn't work for us. We can go forward into a better world now. And we can create this better world.
It's true. I believe that, and I think everybody's here believes that also. You know, if we come closer to nature and try to resemble a picture, we activate positive forces that help us create a better life. Let's think of any colony, or like, let's say a flock of birds, ant colony. They live together harmoniously, helping each other, working as one unit. You know, grouping together offers safety and protection, right? Makes sense. Nature does it. They work together harmoniously as one body. Instead of competing, they help everyone succeed by working together. You know, we're all parts of nature, and we should strive to resemble, you know, the rest of nature, like the ants, the birds, all that. Nature operates according to the laws of love and connection. You know, a great definition of love is, which I read before, love is an expansion of self to include another. When we love another person, their happiness becomes my happiness. Their suffering becomes my suffering. So the future of humanity is to return to that relationship to nature and to all the beings and all the human beings, to everything, to fall in love with the world again. You know, it's well-being and our well-being. You know, there's a quote I love by Martin Luther King, and it's more pertinent now today than ever. We must learn to live together as brothers, or we will perish together as fools. So interesting evening tonight and good concepts.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it. Okay, so like I said before, it's a cameras on event. If you could turn on your camera, that would be great. If you can't, we understand. But it helps us to connect to each other. If you're joining us on Facebook or YouTube, welcome. Welcome to Open Diner. And please tell us your name, where you're from, participate in the questions in the roundtable, in the discussion, and we'll try to read your comments. Let's please try to stay on topic and remember to keep your answers short, because we want to make sure everybody is able to speak, everyone gets a turn. And remember to mute your microphone when you're done speaking, so there's no background noise. Okay, I'm going to be one of your hosts tonight. My name is Carl.
Hi, Carl. I'll be one of the other hosts. I'm Roberta from Long Island, New York. Hello.
And I'm Linda. I'll be another host. I'll be the host for the Icebreaker. And I live in upstate New York, and we're going to start the Icebreaker now. So we're in the holiday season. We all know that. We just had Hanukkah. Christmas is coming up, as well as Kwanzaa. Chinese New Year is not far away either. Let's imagine that we're having a holiday party to connect all nationalities, religions, political beliefs, etc. We're sitting at one round table, and we've put aside all our differences. We're connected above any differences. Tell us one thing that you're bringing to the table, starting with the first letter of your name. Like, my name is Linda, and I'm bringing lasagna. And we're going to do this popcorn style, so speak up.
My name is Willie. Since my first name is Willie with a W, I'm going to bring wine. I just don't know if it's red or white. I'll bring both.
My name is Susie, and I'm bringing some serenity.
You said
Paula.
serenity?
I'm going to bring pizza.
Oh, okay. Pizza. Pizza and serenity. Did you say serenity, Susie? Good. Tastes good. My name's Carl. I'm gonna bring some chop suey.
My name's Dan, and I'm gonna bring donuts. Like those Jewish donuts. I hear they got donuts on Hanukkah or something like that. I don't know what they're called.
I'm Mary, and I'm going to join Willie. I will bring the margaritas.
I'm Judy, and I'm going to bring jambalaya.
Well, my name is Alisa, and I will bring apples, but not just apples, baked apples stuffed with the raisins.
My name is Elana, and I will bring egg salad.
My name is Nina. I think we need some more appetizers, so I'm going to bring some nachos and cheese.
I'm Roberta. I was going to bring the scale, but that'll be tomorrow. I'm going to bring some rigatoni alla vodka. Roberta, rigatoni, there you go.
I'm Rono, and I'm going to bring a ratatouille. It's going to be my first time tasting it too also.
Everybody's gone, I know, right? Anybody have any other thoughts they want to bring? Any other food items? Okay, we'll go on. And this round, we're going to, I'm going to say.
I just got one. I couldn't think of a food. Strawberries.
All right.
Okay, serenity is really needed at my parties right now, though.
Okay, this time we're gonna pick on someone and say their name and ask them to bring something like, Carl, will you bring chocolates? But it's got to be something we haven't said before, so.
Yeah, I will. I have some chocolates actually. They're really good. I got them for Christmas. And I will bring them. And Rono, I think you make some really good rhubarb pie.
Hi, thank you. Lisa, we need nuts. Could you bring some almonds?
Absolutely, I love almonds. Willie, would you bring a chocolate ice cream?
Yes, that's easy. I could do that. But I like more dessert. So Roberta, can you bring peach cobbler?
I could bring any dessert. Of course I can. I'll find it. I'll buy it. I'll bring it. All right. Plenty of dessert. How about Susie? How about some sushi? Sushi. California rolls. Hold the eggs.
Yes, with brown rice. I'll bring them. I make them. I took lessons from a sushi chef. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Judy, will you bring some jelly beans, please?
I will. I love jelly beans. And I'm going to go to Mary. Now, this isn't food, but I want you to bring some mistletoe with you.
All right, I will definitely bring the mistletoe. Let's see who. All right, I'm running out of ideas. Let's see. Dan, could you bring some nice Greek dolmati? I think that's what it's called.
If I can figure out what that is, I'll bring as much as you want. Ilana, can you bring what do they call those? The eclairs.
Yes, I can bring them. I like them. And who is not called yet? I don't know who is.
Paula?
Who?
Paula with a P.
Mary?
No, Paula with a P.
Oh, Paula. Yes. Paula, would you please bring some cheesecake?
Or some pudding.
I'll bring both. Nina, can you please bring noodles? Any kind of noodles.
Bring chicken noodle soup. That's my special. Has everyone gone? Okay, let's have a great party.
Yeah, and I have to apologize, Willie. I didn't call on you with the right, with something starting with W. I couldn't come up immediately. I apologize.
He can bring watermelon.
Oh,
Or weed.
thank you. Thank you. Yes, but don't forget ice cream.
Just water to help digest all that.
Yeah.
Well, as far as that's concerned, when I call on Roberta to bring something sweet with an R, will you bring a roast?
Nobody's here named with an A. I was going to say bring some Alka-Seltzer. Because with all the
Elisa.
food,
What do you mean? Roberta.
Elisa.
Alisa. See, I got back at you with Willie. And Alka-Seltzer, Alisa. There you go.
All right, we're gonna move on. We have a great video clip now that we're all sitting around the table. All right, so this is about nature. This video is about nature, and it's interesting. Let's watch it.
think of examples of connection found in nature, often the images that come to mind might be those of an ant colony, or a flock of starlings, or even massive schools of fish, all moving together in harmony as if they were just one being. It even seems like there is an unspoken language that exists between these different species that keep the whole organism thriving, working, and cohabitating together. When we compare the social structure of these different species to that of modern man, it raises many questions concerning how we relate to one another and the current plight of the human condition. What is the actual impact on our planet as a result of broken relations between us as humans? Is it possible that the root of the issues that we are facing today, such as war, poverty, crime, and the Earth's ecological crisis, all stem from the lack of connection between human beings? Let's take a closer look. Let us first take a look at the practice of labeling as an example relating to broken relations between people. We live in a society that has become obsessed with this practice. To label in the sense that we are using it here is defined as to assign to a category, especially inaccurately or restrictively. Examples of this would be statements like, he is fat, she is pretty, that race is, etc., etc. If we honestly think about it, for most of our lives we have heard and accepted many of these labels unwittingly on a subconscious level and allowed these to determine our willingness to connect with others or not. How is this phenomenon influencing our current view of the people around us? Are we unknowingly judging others based on preconceived notions that have been embedded within our own psyche? If so, how do we begin to reverse engineer this process that has been stamped on us that creates the illusion of separation, so that we can come into a space where we begin to emulate nature that is balanced, unified, and whole? Connection is the key, and nature readily lends itself as the blueprint for how we as humans should begin to relate to one another. Everything in nature has a role to play. Even though they are all different roles that are being expressed through nature, they are all connected, balanced, and unified to complete one overall picture that sustains the fabric of life on the planet. As we begin to move in this same direction in our connections with others, we no longer relate to each other from limiting viewpoints, which causes separation, such as societal labeling that we use as an example. Rather, we begin to focus on the things that connect us as one organism, like the ants, the starlings, and the schools of fish, which always operate from the aspect of the whole and not individual interest. There are no egoistic calculations of differences or separation that enter into the collective awareness of these species. They are unified in one purpose, which is to the benefit of the entire organism as a whole, leaving them in a field of equilibrium with all of nature. Within our collective consciousness, we are all aware of having a desire to connect, and we feel the need for it. We could even go as far as to say that our survival is absolutely dependent on this. We live in a society today that only seeks self-interest, from the average person on the street to the highest levels of government, and we see the end results all around us, such as war, poverty, misery, and a sense of hopelessness. Let's ask this question to ourselves. What could we begin to create together out of agreeing to be in equilibrium with nature through building authentic connections with one another? What if we decided to be in agreement to pass all of the illusions that seemingly separate us? We truly have a chance here to actually create a completely different reality than the one that we have been creating thus far. Let's begin to connect and integrate as part of the naturally occurring processes that we see unfolding all around us within nature itself. Let's begin to work together to build these authentic connections. The ironic thing here is that nature has the uncanny ability to correct itself, to restore balance and harmony. We are part of this system, whether we agree or not. We have an opportunity to run willingly ahead of nature, lies with it, for the benefit of all. The other option is to remain self-serving and egoistic in our relations with others, only to be pushed from behind by the force of nature that will always seek to balance itself for the good of the whole.
Oh, that was beautiful. So now actually we're going to go to a roundtable discussion, but first we're going to go over some etiquette rules that we show each week that really helps us have a good conversation. You could say tools, you could say rules. I say tools, but they can be used in any conversation. So we're here to build a space of support, care, and warmth. You know, picture we're sitting at that round table where we have all this food now piled up and we're sitting in a circle at this, like I said, round table. Everybody's equal and important. There's no head to the table. We go around the table, we speak briefly when we do want to speak, and we speak on topic. We listen attentively to everybody that speaks. Many times, you know, and I always say this each week, every time someone speaks and I'm in a conversation and I have to speak next, I'm already thinking, what am I going to say? Am I going to sound stupid? Is it going to be right? But when you listen to the other person and not worry about what you're going to say, listen to the other person before you, and all of a sudden you say, geez, you know, I didn't think of that. And then you could really add to the conversation without worrying about what do people think, because no one's judging anybody. That's the point. So there's no right or wrong answers. And the truth is in the center of our connection. That's what we're going to find tonight. And I'm going to hand it back over to Carl, and let's enjoy ourselves and have a great conversation, everybody.
Thank you, Roberta. Very nice. That was a good video. And we can learn a lot from nature. The ants, the bees, oh, everything in nature. Let's start being aware. Okay, so the first question we're going to talk about is how can we begin to restore balance and harmony with nature and with each other? How can we begin to restore balance and harmony with nature and with each other? And we're going to do it the same way we did the icebreaker. We're just going to go the popcorn style. You have an answer to this, whatever you feel, just speak up and let it roll. Okay, so go ahead. Anybody who has.
Yes. Yes. You know, I'll notice with nature, thinking about it, there's no greed. If we can eliminate greed, then have to take it more than you need. Not think about leaving something for the others.
Yeah, I agree. And I think if we draw a relationship between greed and what's happening around us, you know, that'll help us a lot.
When I was watching that video, I was watching the bees and thinking how bees have this beautiful connection with each other. They all have a job to do. They do their jobs. They help each other. I saw a film one time that when the bees need to find a new hive, one flies off and looks and then comes back and tells the others. However, bees do that. We could learn from that.
When I was younger, I learned to surf. And when I got a little older, I could still boogie board. And now I don't have an ocean, so I can't do either. But I draw upon those memories to learn how to catch a wave and be one with it, because there's probably no other awesome experience. Probably a lot of sports have that, but once you become one with that wave, and that's what I'm trying to do in my life right now.
That's cool, Susie. Yeah, you know, being aware of the people around you. I used to have this boss, and whenever he was struggling with something, carrying something heavy, he would look over at me and say, "You see me struggling with this." So, you know, and I would go over and help him. But if we can be aware of that and, you know, help. Think about the bees and the ants, how they just like they work together as one. It's great.
Yeah, Carl, if we could always put ourselves in the other guys, like if you could have put yourself in his shoes, you would have known right off that you should be helping him. And if we do this, we're not only restoring balance, but it's creating harmony among us humans. And then as our children grow, they will see how when they interact and bring that to their friends, everything becomes easier for these kids.
I'll add to Judy. You just said everything becomes easier. I know doing something alone by myself, I have my own business, and it's difficult. But if somebody else would help me, forget the business aspect of, but doing anything in life, you do it yourself and you say, I could do it myself. Someone comes along and helps. It makes it easy for both. You both accomplish more. And I think it's really about going above a lot of times the ego. You don't want to ask for help. But like I said, the animals, the bees, all this, they don't ask, think about ego or anything like that. To ask, it makes both the thing that you're doing easier, and it makes the person that you're working with a connection, and you both accomplish something. And we all know this, but we should use it, think about it and really think about what we're doing and do it more often and appreciate and say, you know what, I'm now part of nature.
Some popcorn pops. Can I go again? The question about harmony with nature and each other. And I did some shadow work and parts work in the last 7 or 8 years, and you find out you have different parts in you that are basically disagreeing, like a civil war. This part wants to do this, and this part wants to do this. And if you can get all of your guys in the canoe to go the same direction. And so I find that if I work at having harmony within me, and sometimes that means I have to practice the piano for a gig, and my inner child comes up and says, okay, you can do, compromises with the parts in you so that everybody can flow together. And then I flow better with everybody else.
You just reminded me, Susie, we used to have this musician, an open diner. I hope he comes back one time. His name was David. And he gave us this example of like being a good band player. If like a band player, it starts like showing off and doing his own thing and trying to be better than everyone, the whole band sounds like crap. But it's about listening to one another and attuning to the others, and then everyone sounds good. The whole band sounds great. And I think that's the problem in society, like nowadays, that everyone tries to be better, outdo the other. Like that guy has a great big house, I want the bigger house. I want the bigger yard. I want to be better at my job than the next person, instead of trying to work together and appreciate the differences between us. And like Roberta was saying, adding to each other to create something better together. We're constantly trying to outdo each other, and I think that's the problem.
I noticed that nature really draws from each other. Each part draws from the other part and what they need in order to remain balanced. So we could do that, be able to draw from each other something that will help one another and uplift one another.
And the animals don't take more than they need. The lion will have a kill, one kill. And actually that will last for a couple of days, but he won't take another one until he needs it. And if we did the same thing, just kind of lived within our means, just what we need, there'll be more for other people.
I think we need to try to give more than we receive, and to be kind to one another and to nature. And also to remember that everybody's equal. There may be different social statuses, but when it comes, down to it, we're all flesh and blood.
Yeah, it sounds so beautiful, Paula, and so idealistic, because I don't think we can just go always like being so nice and supportive. We will quarrel, but what we need to learn, like what I noticed, I walk on a beach a lot and I see the seagulls, how they fight, how they chase each other, how they grab food from each other, like immediately they just wait when the other one will just turn the head back, and they grab and they fly away and they chase each other and they quarrel. But at the end of the day, they settle on the sand and in a little distance between each other, and sometimes they all of a sudden they pick up and start flying in such beautiful harmony, like nothing happened before. They didn't quarrel, they didn't chase each other, everything set behind them, and it's just the beauty and harmony, and they're in this flow. It is amazing. It is totally amazing how we can learn and do that.
Yeah, it's very good point. I would like to add that people are human creatures. I mean, social creatures, and we cannot just be alone. Everywhere we need people and communication, and good communication at work, at business, and even it's in social life. We cannot be alone. We need to have friendships. We need to have social connections and good relationships, and it helps us to be healthy and more productive in all the ways.
Can I add something? I was going to say, it's funny, we're talking like, oh, nature and then humans. We are nature, and human beings are nature. We all are part of the same system. We all came from the same place, and we're all living in the same space. So really, if we start acting like nature, it sounds like, oh, something spectacular we're going to do. No, it's actually who we really are. We just got changed by maybe greed or society, who knows what, but to be just in harmony. It's not really that outlandish of a thought, but just really to work together. And when I say take what you need, sure, we all want nice things, but maybe not take it from in a way that's hurting somebody else, So these are things we could be conscious of, but we are nature. We have to remember we are part of nature. That tree you see tomorrow walking, or that animal that ran by that squirrel, we all came from the same, you could say, source. That's my belief, but same place. So we are nature. So let's, try to be in harmony of some sort with it at least.
Yeah, I think the competitive society we live in is what is preventing us from taking advantage of the examples of nature. We compete in everything. Just like the example that Alisa was giving about the birds, we not just compete to survive, but beyond that, we compete to stock up and pile up on things that we think will be useful for us in the future, and then we start piling up on things that we think is good or are important, and it's a never-ending race, and we do that at the expense of another. And it's preventing us from realizing that if everyone just took what they needed and contributed more to society, we actually would benefit more from it.
Right, and that's beautiful. And I want to add to what Roberta said, that we are part of the whole nature, not separate. But I think we are the only species who can, think and compare and learn from others. I don't see how ants can learn from seagulls, but we can learn from all species, and we are given this ability, and we need to learn how to use it properly. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, we have to learn how to. And I think a good way is to get off our cell phones go out into nature with your family, with your friends, spend some time out there and see how nature is balanced, you know, see how nature works. And the main thing I wanted to say is to get off the cell phone, you know, start talking to people and, you know, looking up.
But wear a mask.
Wear a mask. Yeah.
I was going to add something, if that's okay, which I'm
Yeah.
sure it is okay, because we're working in harmony here. I have some quotes, not quotes, friends that spoke on Facebook. This is from Sippy. Please be aware that we are all equal. We see others as part of me. Give joy and love to everyone around me. Just make sure that you saw, she's saying, make sure that I saw this. You didn't need to hear that, but we're all together now in a kumbaya. I made a mistake. Anyway, so thank you, Sippy, and I'll hand it back to you, Carl.
Kumbaya. We still have some more time. If anybody heard something that sparked something else in them, there's still some time if you want to, if you have anything to add. If not, we'll go on to the next question, but I'll give it a couple seconds.
Well, I'm still thinking about the bees and the ants. And this amazement that these little creatures have these complex societies. And I think what we can learn from that is that they are living in alignment with the law of nature that says you are to be connected. And they give us a beautiful example of that when we watch what they do.
And I'll follow up as well. When you look at nature, for the most part, it's happy. They're having a good time. They have a pretty good life. We have the biggest brain and the worst lives possible. So I'm not sure what's happening there, but maybe we're doing something wrong.
If you look at the animals, each one is doing their job. They have their own responsibility, but they fulfill it. And they know they're fulfilling it for the whole, not just for themselves. It's for the collective.
How do you know they're happy, Dan? Like the hyenas, they're laughing. Is that why? They're probably laughing at us.
I think you're right. I've seen them on the National Geographic and stuff. And they're like, you know, they do the kill, but then they sit around with each other and they're pretty calm most of the time, even the lions and all that. And then I look at the city and you can draw your own conclusions, right?
I was going to say, when people aren't being part of nature to you and it feels like they're more abrasive, you can always go sit by a tree or sit by a river or whatever you've got next to you. Go on a picnic with Roberta's family, go fishing. I mean, something to where, because when I can't make it, when things are everywhere, if I can just go, I'm about 3 minutes drive from the river, Colorado River here. If I can just go and sit by the river, it does me wonders. Or if I'm really ungrounded, go sit by a big tree and just put my roots down like that. And it does help me be a better person, because nature, I think, has a little bit more together than the humanity part of nature. I think they can teach us a lot right now.
I like how you added the humanity part of nature. It shows you're really listening, Susie. Cool. Okay, we're gonna watch another video before we go on to the second question. So if we're ready to show that, let's see it.
I have to say, Karen, that was really beautiful to listen to. I really enjoyed that because you have told us something that allows us to kind of go into the next part of this discussion, which is essentially the importance that each person has. And we forget, like you said, that we need to get back to people, you know, and find out who we are and who they are in all of this. So this at this point, I'd like to be able to share with you something that is kind of interesting, and it will give us a new perspective, sort of piggybacking off what Karen said. So if you allow me, I'm going to share the screen now. Okay, can you see that okay, everybody? Great. Okay, so I don't want to scare you. So this is all Karen's doing. No. So Karen, I just want to say this is, so if you can see my little cursor here, this is something that, you know, we don't have to look at it too long, but this is a sugar group, and it's part of this wonderful thing that we talked about today. During the meal, we talked about pizza, linguine, lasagna. Oh my God, Debbie, I need more food. And all of it is part of this starch molecule here. It's a big group, and without starch, which is in pizza and linguine and pasta and rice and all, we don't have the beauty that we have in this world. So let me just make this bigger. Okay, great. So let's just keep in mind that this is what really gives beauty to our world. It's just an amazing part of everything. It's a group. And if you look at making starch, you have to start with a sugar molecule or a sugar group, right? And let's just pretend that's me, right? So I'm sweet, I'm, you know, interesting by myself, but really by myself, I'm not that strong, really. I'm small and I'm unprotected, and I'm just not as, I don't make as much of a great thing like starch if I'm by myself. So what happens generally is I tend to think of myself as important. You know, I'm sweet, I'm sugar, blah, blah, blah. But when something like, say, Corona hits us, or something called an activator, right? What can happen is a transformation can happen. We are now more receptive towards the world, where our hearts really are more open, because we realize that we're alone. Even though we're sweet and great and all, we really don't have everything that we need to be made whole and make something better. So once something like virus comes along, it just makes me realize, you know, I'm not really alone. I need people. And so what happens is we then find other people who are activated, you know. So basically what you notice is another activated person. And together, when you come together, what happens is you make something bigger, right? So the activated parts can combine, and you've now got something that's even better than just the sugar by itself. And if you carry this on with a couple of others, it just makes it even sweeter, something that is just delectable. By itself, it's not really that great, but then when you've got this, then you've got all the beautiful things that make life so delicious and so sweet and worth living. So that's basically sort of 101 chemistry for living in a world that needs everybody. And so in this part here, what we want to know, like Karen mentioned, is how does each of us contribute to a better world? What are we doing? How are we making the world more combined? How are we recognizing each other's strengths? And how do we make this world even better than it is?
Wow, that gets better every time I listen to it.
That was awesome.
Yeah, right? I've seen that before. And Lucian, he really explained it well. And that's how it happens with all the little molecules and atoms in this world. And you don't think that that's exactly how it happens between us, with us, the same way. So let's connect. Okay, so we have another question. And change starts with me. Like, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. So how can I make this world a better place? How can I make this world a better place? Change starts with me. How can I make this world a better place? And same as before, you have something, say it.
With me, I noticed I have to begin to reach out to others, not waiting for people to come to me, but I go to them. But I go to them in a positive manner, with a positive conversation. with a positive hello to open up, try to open up their hearts.
I agree with Willie. I don't get out much, but a couple of times a week I get out. I dress crazy to where I can talk to the kids. The kids will always look at my hat or look at my outfit, and I make sure I connect with them. I tell them, are they being nice to their mommy and helping? And I know I've made a difference in that kid and the mommy, or the old people, or just if somebody's just, I just talk to anybody that will listen. I used to hug them. Now that's pretty verboten, but we don't have to wear masks here. We're in a pretty loose place here, but it's just like Willie, going out, making sure you when you can, and when I can't get out, I have to do that at my home with my hubby and my kitty and my puppy, and make sure everybody feels safe. And it's crazy right now, but that's a big job.
Well, it tells us in the what we're talking about, this question, change starts with me. And if we recognize that there's something amiss in us, we really should get that corrected before we think we could do anything to make this world better. Because if we can fix us, it'll be like that butterfly effect, and it will affect everyone.
I agree. I think, sorry, Roberta.
No, go ahead, Paula, please.
I agree. I think we have to be kind to ourselves, importantly, and kind to each other. And it does have a ripple effect when you spread kindness.
Yeah. How can I make the world a better place? Yeah, connect with others that want to make the world a better place. Just what Paula was saying there.
I think also I especially learned the value of it through a harsh lesson when I went through a hard time, and I realized that I could not have done it without the help of my dear friends and the people who care about me. Like, I cannot imagine going through that alone. So I think supporting people, making sure that everyone has love and support. Like, so many people are lonely nowadays, and just lacking simple human affection, empathy. These are things that anyone can offer and be on the lookout for. Like, I don't know, someone is trying to cross the street, you can, an elderly person, you can help them, hold the door for someone. And the people that are close to you, make sure that they are that they feel loved. Like, don't be afraid to extend your heart, to open your heart, and show some extra love, because everyone can use that nowadays.
Well, if I can add to what Nina just said, it's so important what you said, because when we're in a down state, we can't see anything. But like you said, when your friends helped you, and now when you're in a good state, you're in a higher state, now you could actually say, you know what, I was in a low state, someone helped me, and now I know how to actually feel the difference of when friends help. And now when someone else is in trouble, you have the opportunity then to give to the other person what you experience. That's one of the reasons why we go through stuff, probably. But like you just said, that's so true. When you're in it, you can't see it. When you're out of it, you have a chance to try to help, and that makes a big difference from experience and friends.
You're talking about giving a good example. And I think that one thing I can do is, when I see something that I think is evil or bad, or I want to criticize somebody for their action, I want to rage at the TV or whatever, instead I can decide that I will be the opposite of what I'm seeing and give that example to the world instead.
Very beautiful, and I wish I would be always as kind and but I know, and I'm coming back to this example with seagulls. You know what I'm trying, and I don't know why I'm doing it, but because I guess yesterday I was so impressed with them. You know, at the end of the day, just I was thinking that, can you not hold grudge? Can you start the new, okay, maybe not the same day, but in the morning, next day, like wake up and like nothing happened and start anew. You know, would it be possible? And I think it will make such a difference in our relationships, you know, in the family, with the loved ones, and with everyone else, with co-workers, with everyone else. Start anew every day. That is what I'm learning.
We each have to free ourselves from this culture of fear that is causing us to actually hurt the others. Realizing that you know, we have a lot to contribute by simply be ourselves and be a part of society. You know, it's like realizing that the pandemic has shown us how little we actually need to be happy, and how much we can contribute as far as supporting each other, and how big impact we can have on the other. People from far away we never see are suffering or benefiting from our actions, from our choices.
Yeah, you're talking about fear, and you know, there's so much out there, so much fear out there that, like today, for example, I was in the elevator, and you know, like when you get in an elevator, everybody's so quiet and everybody looks down and nobody says anything. And I looked around to see, you know, if I could spark up a conversation, and I saw a guy holding something that fishes electrical wire. And I have something like that. And I said, you know, one of the things you can use is the glow in the dark stick. And, you know, and he started talking to me. Just something simple like that. Because it's so hard sometimes. You have this fear of just speaking, you know, but when you come out of yourself and just talk to people, it makes all the difference in the world. The whole energy in the elevator changed.
Yes, we really need to examine ourselves. We are quick to judge other people and what they're doing or not doing, and we refuse to look at, what am I adding? What am I doing? What needs to change in me to make me a different person, to be able to add to society?
And I believe Carl did that song, Man in the Mirror. And my guides, they wake me up with songs I have to learn and stuff. And they told me to learn that. And I thought of Michael Jackson and me going, you know, but I slowed it down. And when I did that, oh my God, the words, you know, no message could have been any clearer. Take a look at yourself, make that change, especially when everything's going around and there's so much to where you want to go, that's wrong and that's wrong. Still, if you look in the mirror and work on what you got to work on, then you're going to be so much better for everybody else.
I just would like to give example with current pandemic. I think we shouldn't be egoistic. You know, we should care about other people. And as they say, when you wear mask yourself, you protect other people. But you can see now, many people don't care about that. You know, they don't wear mask and they don't care about other people. Actually, I was recently in the store, and I said to one person, please don't stand too close to me. And he said, I don't care. And he was without mask. So what I'm saying, people don't care about other people. They need to care more. Otherwise, we cannot get out of this pandemic. And also people should get vaccinated, because it's not just because of them. and they can help to save society and help to get us out of this pandemic. Yeah.
I'd like to add something. I have something from Facebook from Maria. She says, always be positive, see only good sides of people, never judge them, help them, be there for them in tough times, bring joy, happiness as much as possible. Thank you from Maria on Facebook.
I think we're ready to move on. Are we? Or does anyone else have anything? We do have a few more minutes.
I think they want a dance call.
We talked a lot tonight. Wow. Yeah, they want to dance. All right, let's dance. Go ahead, Roberta.
Okay, so obviously I gave you a lead into what's happening. We're gonna go to our famous chair dance together now. It's a lot of fun. Those who have been here before, we know what we're gonna do. We're gonna play some music, and when you're spotlighted on the big screen, do a little dance with your hands, and everyone's gonna follow your move. When someone else is spotlighted, everyone follows them. It's kind of like follow the leader. When you're spotlighted, you might see a message on the screen. It simply is telling you that you're spotlighted. Ignore that. Don't bother reading it, otherwise you're going to miss your turn. So that's your cue to do your dance move, and everybody's going to follow you. So now we have a chance to be like the birds, the bees, and everything. And this song listen to the words of it. This is a very fun song. It's very apropos to what we're doing tonight. So Maestro, music.
Said the bat to the rooster, let me tell you something, mister. For me, flying in the dark is like walking in the park. So cover your eyes and chill out, and you'll see better, no doubt. If you shut your eyes, you can see the light, and you can tell if it's day or night. So what's your choice? To be a rooster or a bat? Imagine that. Answered the rooster to the bat. My friend, let me set you straight. Day or night, you do not mind, only because you are blind. So open your eyes and I'll bet you'll never want the sun to set. If you shut your eyes, you can see the light, and you can tell if it's day or night. So what's your choice? To be a rooster or a bat? Imagine that. Bat and rooster then declare they'll go together everywhere. Rooster will lead in the day, at night bat'll show the way. And off they went, the two friends, touring the world hand in hand. If you shut your eyes, you can see the light, and you can tell if it's day or night. So what's your choice? To be a rooster or a bat? Imagine that. A rooster or a bat? Imagine that. Or you could be both, a rooster and a bat. Imagine that. A rooster and a bat. Imagine tonight.
Oh, great job. This was a lot of exercise tonight, unless I'm just out of shape for over 1 week. My arms are hurting. You guys did a great job. I'll hand it back to Carl. Good job, everybody. And think about it, rooster or a bat? This is a question. Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, I'd rather be a rat, a bat, a
Rooster or a bat?
Or both.
Nature.
All right. So this is it. We've come to the end of our show. That was a great show, huh? Thank you all. You were all wonderful. Thank you for taking part, playing the part, and continue to join us every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and bring your friends.
Yep. And, tech team's going to put out some slides up on, some links up on the slide. And we're going to ask everybody to follow us. Let's get it up on the screen. There we go. Click likes, share, subscribe. You can see all our past events on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure to hit the like bell icon on Facebook to receive notifications about the future events. And you can RSVP for all our future events on Facebook and Meetup. So this was a lot of fun tonight. It went very quickly. Great conversations, everybody. I really have to say, it was a beautiful evening. I hope everybody had a great time. And I'll see you next week. Right?
Thank you, everybody.
Till next
See you next
week.
week.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Love you all so much.
Have a great week. Bye.
Hugs. Nobody's
Bye-bye.
alone. Bye-bye.
See you next Thursday.
Each can execute the love of others in actual fact. Next.
Rono, we are reading